What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video, and in this one we are once again talking about my brand new full force feedback joystick base FFBeast, which has been absolutely transformational to me flying in DCS world. Absolutely every module, but in particular helicopters. I mean, it's just absolutely sensational, and today in particular we'll be talking about the precision that you get now with aiming, manually flying and aiming your guns and rockets in helicopters, such as, for example, the Huey. Now, a lot of you that fly the Huey probably know this is one of the more challenging modules to fly and operate accurately, because it's a little bit twitchy. With a normal spring-loaded joystick, you know, it's very difficult to keep aiming onto a particular target because the joystick wants to spring out of your hand, and just overall it's quite a challenge. However, with a full force feedback joystick, my god, you get so much more precision. And a lot of you, and I've heard this in the comments before already in my previous videos, make the argument that there is no force feedback in a helicopter, and therefore having a full force feedback joystick is absolutely pointless. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are completely wrong. This can be tuned completely differently for each module, and I guarantee you that you can tune it exactly to the way a helicopter flies. Now, unfortunately, due to the amount of people interested in the product, there's currently quite a big waiting time for FFBeast. Of course, there is also the VP Force Rhino. I know a lot of you guys ask me about that all the time. I don't really have much experience with that. I know they're sort of broadly similar. FFBeast is an actual beast. It weighs a ton and it generates a lot more force than the VPC Rhino, but I don't really know other than that. But I do understand that the waiting times now, if you want to get a full force feedback joystick, are quite high. However, I can't recommend FFBeast enough, because it's just absolutely phenomenal. I don't have enough words. I'm currently working on a full video review of FFBeast, including all the software and how it works and just how amazing it is. However, today in particular, we are just going to do a quick short flight here off the USS Forrestal in the Huey, and I'm going to show you the accuracy that you have firing your guns and rockets now flying the Huey.
We have 2 good engine starts. You're clear to disconnect the headset. We'll see you on the left with the pin. Thanks a lot.
Now, let me just jump into the cockpit straight away, and I'm going to tell you exactly why, especially those of you that often criticize me for saying that a full force feedback joystick is absolutely pointless for flying helicopters in DCS because helicopters don't have any force feedback. Well, I'm going to tell you. First of all, you can tune this thing exactly to the way it's supposed to be, let's say in a Huey. So, for example, at the moment I have the force trim switch on, and if I displace the cyclic and let go, it springs back to the center. Now, it's not a huge amount of force, but it does go to the center, as you could probably tell. And if you want to hover, let's say, you know, you can keep your hand there, and you can actually strain your hand for a little bit. But one thing you can of course do is you can use the trim switch in the helicopters. Now, if you press it, now this is my new neutral position. As you can see, if I let go, the stick stays in that position. Now, if I just press and hold that switch now again and move it somewhere else, let's say a different position like there, and let go, this is the new neutral position, and the joystick will now spring back to that position. Now, the other way of doing it, of course, is using force trim off. And the force trim off, now for those of you that are unaware, there's a little switch here, force trim on, off. I just have it bound to my HOTAS. Now, with force trim off, all spring connections, or whatever you would call it, are removed. So now it's a free moving stick, effectively. And that gives you insane precision when it comes to flying and shooting, as you might imagine. So you don't have to strain your hand in terms of trying to keep your target within your gun sight. So, without further ado, I think let's just take off and get cracking. What I'll do is I'll just put the force trim back on. I'm just going to trim it out roughly where I think it should be for takeoff, and I'll use it with force trim on. So, by the way, I have a new collective, as you can probably tell. It's from Verpal. I'm still getting used to it, so for those of you, you know, that are probably used to, you know, a sort of precise flying on my side with the Huey, I am still getting used to it. So ups and downs is just not an issue. That was a very easy transition for me. But just in terms of the amount of range of movement, I'm still kind of getting used to, you know, the amount of lift versus the amount of travel in the collective. So don't blame me if I'm a little up and down here, but I'll try my very best. So best way to take off in the Huey, I think, to get an accurate, precise takeoff is just increase the collective very, very, very gently until you feel the helicopter sliding left, right, and then just apply the rudder. So I can, you see now, if I just let go a little bit of left rudder, the helicopter starts going to the right. So I know I need a little bit of left rudder there, and I'll just keep going up and up and up and up and up until there we go, until we have a liftoff here. And I'll just freeze my hand, reduce the collective slightly, and I'll just try and get it into a hover just a little bit. So a little bit wobbly. Haven't flown the Huey in like a week or no, actually a couple of weeks now, isn't it? Anyway, so just try and stabilize it there. There we go. And actually, once we're hovering here, I just want to point your attention to how incredible the USS Forrestal is. I've never been using it really for any missions. I've just created this one. For anybody interested, the Patreon supporters will get access to the mission file, just in case you're interested in using this mission file with the carrier. But just look at the sheer amount of detail here, like with the with the catapult here and on all the hatches and everything. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I just can't believe just how good it is here. And obviously we've got the F-14s here by Heatblur. I mean, they're just proper artists, these guys. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal just watching or looking at this stuff. You know, I could just fly around here for ages and just kind of enjoy the details. But like, as you can see straight away, before we get into the gunnery side of it, you know, hovering is a lot easier, I think, with a full force feedback joystick, because, you know, I can trim. In fact, if I press my trim button there now, I've got it neutralized pretty much there where I want it to be. Just a little bit back and forth there, but that's pretty good. So as you can see, you know, it's very easy to find that you know, perfect kind of position for trim position for your hover. And of course the joystick now wants to spring back to that position, unlike with a regular spring-loaded joystick, which will always try to spring back to the center. And you know, you kind of lose that ability to hover accurately. Now as we move up the carrier deck, you'll see we'll start sinking. That's because the ground effect is going to disappear. There we go. And now we'll just increase the collective. And we'll just fly around the carrier. I'll just show you the USS Forrestal in all its glory, since I put a little bit of effort into actually creating this mission. I used some photos, and there's a supply ship here, so the idea is that, you know, the supplies are being transferred from the supply ship to the carrier. And I was actually thinking of doing a little mission, perhaps with hoisting the supplies off the USS Forrestal, or rather the other way around, from the supply ship onto the USS Forrestal. So if any of you are interested in a video like that, you know, potentially doing some hoisting, some cargo lifting up and down, then please comment down below. Might do it. If you guys are not interested, no problem, I'll just move on to something else. But anyway, yeah, so this is the USS Forrestal. I love just sort of flying around here in the Huey, just because you can appreciate the sights, because it just looks absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the texturing and everything here, my god, it's just wow, so much better than the super carrier. I mean, it's just crazy. Anyway, right, let's get into the gunnery side. So we'll get the in fact, I should probably get my weapon system ready. Right, there we go. We've got a couple of Killa tomatoes here, and I'll just straight away I'll take the force trim off. So I've now got, oh, that was a bit of a miss, but as you can tell, look how accurately I can now hit it. Now that was pretty close, so obviously that was kind of easy, let's say, right? So let's just get a little bit of ground, and I'll just show you that even from far away you can really get the pipper on there a lot easier. Now it's still challenging, don't get me wrong. I mean, flying helicopters in general is challenging, but flying the Huey is definitely always challenging, no matter what you do. But my point is that with something like a full force feedback joystick, you know, especially now with force trim off, you know, that switch down in the center console. Now if I let go of the stick there, you know, it stays in that position and I don't need to do anything. It's super, super easy now. Just increase the collective, go up a little bit. I can't remember what this maneuver is called in helicopter land. I sort of call it a wing over. I'll just reduce the collective here, where you swing the nose around. So we've got a little bit of distance now. The wind is coming from the left, so we'll take that sort of most left Sorry, no, in fact, let's go for the right one. Let's go for the right. We'll go with that right Killa tomato. So I think if I aim kind of high and to the left, let's see where that lands. Oh, that's perfect hits right there. That's good. So you just got to take that wind into account. Oh, that was a little bit short. But look how steady and accurately I can do this. You see that? I mean, and I'm adjusting for the wind here on purpose. So I was pretty much bang on. So we get a little bit closer, of course. We reduce the correction angle. And there we go. We're hitting it pretty well. So as you can tell, you know, there's a lot of precision to be had with just the ability of being able to move the cyclic in any position and sort of freeze it there, because I don't need to strain my hand. Now, for those of you, again, whilst we're flying, there's a little bit of a shooting range here on this island here, on the Marianas that I've made. So whilst we're flying there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put force trim back on. So now the stick has just sprung back to the middle. You see that? Or wherever I've trimmed it to last time, effectively, which was for hover. So now, if I want to keep flying forward and just kind of in that position, I need to constantly strain my hand and have that forward pressure, right? Now that's fine, you could do that, right? So if I let go, this is just a demonstration. If I let go, boom, it springs back to the middle and the nose goes up, right? I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to find a position that I like, and I'm going to now press the trim button, which is this red button on the stick now. And now all springs are removed from the stick. It's free moving as if it's a force trim off. And now I can maneuver it anywhere. Now let's just say I'm going to find that beautiful neutral position now for flying forward. So let's say that's about there. So I'm going to release my thumb now. Boom. And look, I let go of the stick, it stays there, perfectly trimmed. And I've got that feedback. So the feedback is not like the vibrations of the forces. It's more that the fact that I can see exactly where the stick is displaced, which is, well, sorry, the cyclic, I suppose, if you're, you know, a helicopter pilot. And, you know, I can tell exactly what's going on. So it's just, you know, the feedback is not always in that, say, people think that feedback is like all the vibrations that I get through the joystick. It's not necessarily that, although you can, and that's a huge part of force feedback, no question, especially if you're flying something that's about to stall out of the sky, you've got the buffet, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. But in terms of flying helicopters, what you need is a free-moving stick, and you need something that you can see how the stick is displaced, because that's what happens in real life, of course, right? So let's go and force trim off now. So now I can maneuver the stick freely, and I think that's much better for aiming personally. So we'll go and there's a couple of targets here. Just reduce the forward airspeed here a little bit. Alright, so let's aim for, there's a Humvee on the left side. If you see, there's kind of a container, a white container now, just where the pipper is, and just to the left of that is a red container. So I'm going to go for that Humvee there. Yeah, so we've got a couple of hits there. Pretty good. Wind still from the right, so I'm just doing a slight correction. And as you can see, look how accurately I can hit this. Just look at the accuracy. Okay, that was a miss. But, you know, just to give you an idea, I'm sure a lot of you that are used to flying the Huey, you will know it ain't easy aiming this thing, especially with guns. They go all over the place, up, down. It's like a wild fireman's hose when, you know, when you're trying to aim the Huey. But now, the precision, this is the key. The precision is just phenomenal flying with a full force feedback joystick base. Such as FFBeast, I am just over the moon, and like I said, I'm currently doing a full video review of this thing, so probably either the next video or the video after that. By the way, look how cool it is now. The trees actually move in the wind, which is pretty awesome. You can see them moving around. That's just cool. So we'll just come in for another go now. In fact, we'll switch to rockets just for fun, because why not? And yeah, I'm doing a full review of this thing, including the software and how it works. I know a lot of you have been asking me in the comments about that, and I am getting to that. I do apologize, it's taking me so much time. But I am going to try and kind of go over everything that I possibly can with regards to this thing. Both everything in terms of, you know, how it's made, how it's built, how much it weighs, you know, the size of it, the force that it can generate, and also just all the benefits and the effects that it has for different modules. And by the way, here's another good example of, you know, you can fly low level super nicely and accurately. Just, you know, just this takes no effort whatsoever. It's just too easy. So yeah, this thing is just absolutely phenomenal. Next video, I'll go over all the kind of all the ins and outs, including the software and setting it up and things of that nature. But overall, I just want to tell you, if you don't, if you don't have this, I mean, of course I understand it's expensive, so I'm not expecting anybody or everybody to go and say, you know what, I have $1,000 to spend on a joystick. That's absolutely understandable. I'm not trying to convince you that you should be selling your liver or your kidney. Let's just try and take... So we'll go for the vehicles on the right side now. So let's go. I think I need to aim a bit lower here. Not bad. Yeah, good hit. Good hit right there. Let's see if I can come in super close and hit them. Oh, that's... meh, yeah. I did want to aim a little bit lower because the sight's set up for quite a distance, but you get the idea, right? Let's fly back and we'll do some Killa tomato at a distance shooting. So let's see if we can hit them from quite far away. This is quite fun. This is a bit like archery. You really got to figure out a trajectory as you approach them, because there's no way you can really aim properly. You just have to kind of guesstimate the wind, and the wind's coming from the right here, so let's see if we can hit him. So I think maybe if we aim there, let's see how that goes. Where's that gonna land? Anywhere? Was it too far? Oh wow, that's way too far away. Okay. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's go switch to guns, because I think guns are more fun. Oh, that was close. Ah, that was close. Right, okay. So a little bit of wind from the... Oh, no, that's terrible. A little bit of wind from the right. No, guns you gotta aim higher. Okay. Round about there. A little bit to the left. Ooh, that was good. That was pretty good. That was now a little bit to the right now. That was good. That was nice. Those good hits. So anyway, I guess the point is, if you have a full force feedback joystick, is your collateral damage is going to be reduced. I mean, that's basically the upside. You're not going to hit your friendlies, which are close to the bad guys, especially if you're on close quarter combat. So we'll come in for landing now, and what I'll do is I'll just get the force trim back on, and at the moment it's trimmed out for quite a fast speed forward flight. As you can see, if I let go of the controls, the helicopter was to go fast. But what I'll do is, as we come in here, I'll reposition. I'll press the trimmer button, and I'll reposition the stick back to a sort of hover position, and we'll try and land with force trim on this time. See how it is. So just back onto that kind of landing pad that we started off from, or that whatever you call it, thing that goes down, the elevator, I guess, maybe. So right, so I've got a little bit of pressure to the left now with this stick, so I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to press that trim button. Now it's neutralized this new position now, so this is my neutral position. If I let go of the stick, it's pretty much going to be in that place, but I don't want to let go because I need micro corrections for landing. So we'll come in and land onto this elevator, nice and gentle. And as you can see, you do get a hell of a lot more precision, I think, with something like that. Well, definitely, there's no question about it. It's a lot more precision. The only way it could be improved is if you have a long extension on your stick, which I don't. I have only like a 5 centimeter extension. It works at about 10 centimeters in total, I guess, from the sort of gimbal or whatever, from the motor of the base. But it could be a little bit longer to get those fine movements. But nonetheless, I'm not complaining. It's still pretty good. I can still get it kind of accurately, I think. So just reduce the collective slightly. Still getting used to my collective here. Way, there we go. A little bit wobbly, but I would say that's a pretty decent landing. And flying with the collective is awesome, by the way. This is the VPC, sorry, the purple one, and it's been great. Yeah, I mean, I've only flown with it for like, I don't know, half an hour or something, but it feels awesome. I love it. So that's it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of little overview of flying a Huey with a full force feedback joystick, FFBeast. I'll leave the link in the description below. Like I say, unfortunately, waiting time is quite high. I believe it's up to a year now, although I think if they can sort out their production issues, maybe that'll improve a little bit. I hope it will. I can't recommend it enough. I know that it might be a little bit of a wait for anybody who's interested, but all I can say is, you know what, knowing what I know now, I would absolutely put myself out there on the day, because at the end of the day, it's better to wait a year than 3 years. And like I said before, there's not really many options when it comes to full force feedback joysticks these days. I have no idea why it's taken us up to 2024 for people to get excited over full force feedback. I myself I can't understand it, because it is absolutely so transformational. It's like you are flying a real machine. No matter what it is, by the way, you know, whether it's a helicopter or not. The only thing I will say is, to those of you that, let's say, are die-hard F-16 fans, don't get this, because F-16 is very different, very unique, and you know, you need that side stick. This obviously works really well as a center stick. It would not work very well as a side stick. I mean, you could, of course, do that. You could mount it on your side, but it just wouldn't really be, it wouldn't be right, you know, because this thing is really kind of designed to be as a center stick, and you know, it works for pretty much 99% of all aircraft out there, so it's brilliant. And of course, the absolute incredible upside is that each module feels completely differently. You know, you can fly an F-18, will feel nothing like when you fly a Viggen, will feel nothing like when you fly a Huey, will feel nothing like when you fly a Mustang. Everything is going to be completely unique. So anyway, my next video I'll probably go over all the ins and outs of actually the FFBeast joystick itself, so stick around for that. Otherwise, if you're interested in this little mission that I've created, feel free to become a Patreon supporter. That'll be greatly appreciated. It's taken me ages to create these missions, as you can imagine, and position all these objects and test it, etc., etc. So, you know, that's so it would be greatly appreciated if you are interested in becoming a Patreon, and all the mission files that I do for all my missions pretty much are out there, so for you to download. So if you're interested, feel free to check it out. With that said, if you have any more questions about FFBeast in particular, feel free to comment them down below. I'll try my best to answer them. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching this video. Please smash the living daylight of the like button if you could. Subscribe for future videos, and I shall catch you in the next one. Adios!